Well, I help you with the mental illness thing. Alright. It's all explained in my books. And I'm missing Sherlock Holmes here for you lot. It's a good Sherlock Holmes, Kenny said. You'll get a lot of Jedi living on the Jedi Theory channel. And you'll get a bit of Jedi Theory on the Jedi Living channel. Jedis believe in enjoying life. And the vital balance is work, rest and play. So, you're going to have to get used to me suddenly changing the subject, relaxing, and telling you that, I'd rather you buggered off because I want to enjoy myself. But, anyhow, we'll get back to it. Oh, I don't want to watch a film about penguins.
What do you want?
Can we stick to Sherlock Holmes?
Finished.
Keep Up Appearance. Oh, that's quite good. That's a comedy. Lovely day outside. Lovely day outside. It's going to be cooler in here, Kenny, isn't it? A bowl of ice cream in a minute. Yeah, it's hot here in Britain. We're going through some hot weather. Got water at the window boxes in a minute. Back to mental illness, alright, they understand a lot more about mental illness in the future. They're on a destiny line, be it a small one or a big one, doesn't matter. Think of it this way, it's a destiny line is to do with time, alright. So, if that person, they are required to be proactive in some way or another. Do you understand what proactive is? I often feel that, Jedi's are very precise with the use of words, alright? And I talk to people, and they have no concept of all the meaning of words. And I say a word, and I think, oh God, I've got to explain it 90 times, because they have no concept of the meaning of that word. Do you know what proactive means? I hope you do. But I know you don't. So I'm going to explain. Proactive, right, means that you have to do some kind of action, right? Some kind of action to do with the structure of the galaxy. So you've got caught up in the structure of the galaxy, right? And you have to be proactive. You're required to do something. It may be something very small. It may be something very big. Either way, right, proactive means an action. You're required to carry an action due to the structure of the galaxy. And right, it will not leave you alone until you do it. Alright. Now, it can be something very, very small. But alright, I'll take that. I'll talk you through a Jedi concept. Okay, there's this book I gave to my dad, but I've forgotten. I've written it down. I wrote it down somewhere, but it was a building of a cathedral. Alright. Now, if you were to build a cathedral, most of the stones will be vital to the structure of the cathedral. Alright. Now, you take out, how many stones would you dare take out if you knew nothing about them? And you were walking around the cathedral, you take out the stones, alright, you take out that one. Cathedral's still standing. Take out that one. Cathedral's still standing. Take out another one. It's alright, the cathedral's alright. And suddenly, one looks really small and unimportant. You take that out, and suddenly you say, hey, get out of there, the cathedral collapses. Alright. Now, every living being and matter itself all enters into that. Alright. You could enter into that as a living being. Alright. As a human being, if that was to happen to you, and you were that small stone, right, then you get mental illness. Alright. And it's a pro-action, which means some sort of action somewhere. You are required to do something. You have to work out what. It's not easy to work it out. You're required to do something, maybe something very, very small. But if it's small, this is the thing about the current world seems to think big is important, small isn't. They're both important, right? If either can collapse as a cathedral, they're obviously both equally important. Alright? And I always feel like I'm talking to children, and it gets me fed up and pissed off. I have to explain easy words, It's not that people are dumb, they just don't bother using their brains a lot. And that's a lot of my books about in this era, how people don't bother using their brains a lot. It's because, and they lack interest in the world around them. I explained that in the book, what the problem here occurred when people lost interest in the world around them. except a few base things to do with the base chakra. Greed, the stomach, pelvic area, sex. Money. Money is the stomach too. You know, became very, very base. If you become very, very base, you get very much into sex, and you become very, very base. The mind, the mind up here, right? Your face is your identity, but your mind, right, is not connected. It's not connected to the base, only through pleasure. So, therefore, what happens is, if you're all base stimulus, your mind registers pleasure only. Alright, so it starts to become a pleasure seeker. It becomes like a little mushroom looking for pleasure. And it will only ever focus or concentrate, this is very bad for the brain's health, on anything that gives it pleasure, nothing else. Alright? So it starts to focus, it starts to get very, very base. Suddenly, sex being the paramount pleasure, then it likes drugs, anything that registers pleasure. Right? Well, the higher chakra has to do with happiness. Right? That is connected to all the rest of the brain, which is only a few tiny areas of the brain are controlled by pleasure. Alright? The rest, the higher chakra here, is the rest of the brain. Alright? Which is every other area of interest. Alright? So if you don't have enough focus on the higher chakra, you start to get very, very bored. Anything that is not completely and utterly pleasurable. Everything else bores you, therefore you don't focus on it, you don't take it in, you don't pay an interest, you never learn about it. Alright? The world has a terrible problem with this in this era. Alright? It's a terrible problem with being sex maniacs. Alright. Well, that's some explanation since in my books. And they do know about this era. And most Jedi don't want to come here because up until you could fall into a lot of traps in this era. There are a lot of very, very painful traps you can fall into. And they are known to the Jedis, and there are not many Jedis that wanted to live in this era from the future. Due to the fact that there were so many traps, they could become lost in this era, and they could end up with a very bad life. And that happens to a lot of people in this era. And now we've got to the why. Why Jediism? To stop this one. They protect the majority, but the majority don't need protecting. The Jedi are there as a part of democracy, to protect the minority. The minority of people have very bad lives, or in very bad traps, and they're there to rescue them. Right. Now you've got the why. We've got the first why. Why Jediism? Alright.